anti-protons.
Rahitra!
Now that you're here, why don't you help me?
With what?
With the probes. They're over the battlefield. I do have visuals from the Cyclops here, but I can't do everything on my own. Oh, wait. Activity's increasing. They're coming. Are you helping or not? Come on, Yasna. It's about to start. I can't wait any longer.
No. You're on your own. I'm gonna call my commander.
Fine, suit yourself. Just don't disturb me.
Use the radio station to contact Novik.
Where can I find...
You can handle it.
Ah, here we are. Oh dear. Oh shit. Okay, no, it's fine. We were on 3, so now we're on 4.
Condor, over. Astrogator Novik speaking. The IC Dragonfly Unit Commander.
Astrogator, it's me. I made it to the Condor's bridge.
What about Rahitra?
He's here with me.
Has it slowed down at all?
On the contrary, there's gonna be direct conflict. Any moment now.
That's not good. May I suggest you...
What the hell was that?
Did you hear that?
Yes, yes. It's hard not to.
Oh, what a fucking mess. I must check on him.
Copy that. Awaiting contact.
Oh boy. Rahitra?
Rahitra? What's going on?
I don't understand.
Has his beard gotten
so
longer?
well.
Is it over now?
The field held? It got so many of them. It's gone completely mad. Now it's wandering around aimlessly.
Sounds familiar.
Oh boy.
They look... enraged.
Yeah, pissed off like hell.
Listen, I connected with my astrogator. We need to talk about what's next.
I won't leave it like this. I guarantee you.
Rahitra, your men are on their way here. On the Invincible.
I've heard that before.
Turns out it was true all along. They're flying here. Do you hear me? We'll sort
Boy.
everything out.
So, Horpak is flying here with company? What an honor. And when will they arrive, if I may ask?
We anticipate they'll arrive in a few days.
A few days? That's a lot of time for me.
I realize. We'll come back to that. Let me go back to the radio. I'll return soon.
Oh boy.
I'm back. The fight is over.
Well, I think I know the outcome. I'm registering increased activity from the cloud.
Yes. A complete fiasco.
This was to be expected. You didn't expect the attack to succeed, did you?
Did you get confirmation of the Invincible's arrival?
Yes, they're very close.
When will they get here?
Soon.
Could you be a bit more specific?
Yasna, I have the impression you're the one in a rush now. I don't know exactly. A few days, tops. Can I talk to him now? With Rahitra?
Okay. I'm switching you to the bridge. He should be able to hear you now.
Hello, Condor. This is Astrogator Novik, commander of the IC Dragonfly ship. I repeat, this is Astrogator Novik to the crew of the USCA Condor cruiser. Please come in.
Could you stop with all these? Rohitra, Engineer Rohitra. Among our crew, I'm the last man standing, so to speak, which I guess makes me commander. Who would have
In
thought?
that case, I'm making an official request to join our forces, to prevent the danger that threatens both sides.
Oh, enough, Novik. That's enough. I agree, officially and all that jazz. We're already taking steps to eliminate the threat. So far, however, your crew has not been cooperative. Anyway, we stopped playing defense and took the fight to them. The Cloud suffered significant losses.
Playing defense sounds a lot better than we're getting our asses kicked.
Doctor, not now, please.
No, it's true. Fighting against the Cloud is exceptionally difficult. But any opponent can be defeated. All it takes is the right tool.
Meaning what exactly? Let me remind you that we're dealing with a dispersed entity whose technological prowess is still unknown.
We could just
It has
leave.
so far destabilized every machine sent its way. Even the most specialized ones.
That's why I'll keep it simple this time. No electro brains, no memory, only...
What? A nuclear weapon? Seriously?
Damn right! I won't leave all this unresolved!
How many warheads do you have?
54. From 30 kilos to 100 megatons.
Ah, shit.
That's quite an arsenal.
We really do have enough power.
That's an understatement, Doctor. An amount of energy could rip the planet to pieces.
I'm not an idiot. I won't send everything at once. I'm preparing 8 smaller warheads to start with.
And then?
We'll see.
Are you sure this is a good idea, Rahitra?
Listen, Yasna, I know how it must look to you. A hot-headed guy from the Alliance who wants to use nukes. But put yourself in my shoes. I have 24 hours tops of complete situational awareness. I'm taking action here and now based on my best judgment. I don't know what will happen later. Where will I wake up? In what condition? So I'm going to avenge my people before that happens and ensure the safety of those who survived. They all deserve better than this. I know
It's a
you
bad
understand.
idea.
You're like me. You would do anything for your crew.
Look, I understand how you feel. But you can't approach this problem in terms of revenge. We are dealing with creations of necro-evolution. Dead evolution. And probably non-sentient ones. Taking revenge on the Cloud is like...
Whipping the ocean for sinking a ship?
Exactly. Like Xerxes. We won't gain anything from a mindless attack. On the other hand, knowledge about these creations may turn out to be crucial in helping their victims. In helping you, Rahitra.
My memory, you could...
It's possible.
Well, thank you
What for? I haven't done anything.
for reminding me of my mom. But as long as the Cloud is a threat to others, my condition comes second.
You, Rahitra, are still reasoning as though we were standing face to face with a thinking opponent. What if these beings are not our enemy at all?
Oh, good one. Are you forgetting how many of us they've already killed?
I will never forget, Rahitra. Still, I can't help feeling that they operate without any strategic plan. They attack from one incident to another. They're non-sentient, as the doctor put it.
So what, they're stupid? And that's why they can't be hostile? It's absolute nonsense.
Well, it could be. Yasna, what do you think?
They're not stupid or hostile, but rather programmed to react. To radio waves, to brain waves.
How?
They're breaking down communications. To thwart the exchange of information.
So... they see no difference between a man and a machine? They take our brains for transmitters. That's why they're attacking us?
Exactly.
Wait, what species are you talking about?
Dr. Yasna found various traces of conflict, lasting for hundreds of thousands of generations.
Oh, they certainly competed with the local fauna. We've seen fish that evolved to sense electromagnetic fields. And underground, I found fossils of lizard-like reptiles. Some of them must have been predatory.
Well, I find it hard to believe that any prehistoric reptiles would possess our level of technology, not to mention an arsenal.
Well, they wouldn't have. But there were other machines here as well.
Other machines? I don't buy it. It's like some robot fables.
No, Rachel, these are no fables. We have gathered evidence for all this.
How did these machines even get here? Who built them?
Our cyberneticist had a hypothesis before he lost consciousness.
About the Lyrans.
Yes, that one.
Lyrans. It does ring a bell. Wasn't there a book about them?
The Cranian's monograph. According to his notes, before the explosion of Zeta Lyra, the sixth planet of the system was inhabited by intelligent beings. Let's say their scout ship landed here and that a disaster occurred. Some kind of reactor explosion, chain reaction. Suffice to say, the wreckage that landed on Regis 3 had no living beings on board.
Only the machine survived.
And then what? They started bashing in each other's tin heads? Doesn't make much sense to me. Machines don't have emotions.
First things first. Millions of years ago, some highly advanced race sent machines to Regis 3. And these were specialized homeostatic mechanisms, left with no one to command them. As an engineer, you know well how it is. A robot does what it needs to do, whether it serves someone or not. At first, they probably just repaired themselves, or built a home for their dead masters.
Until something forced them to change.
Exactly. Certain types of predator eat anything that moves. So I'm betting they were attacked by a local fauna. The key was that these machines had the ability to produce others as needed. To combat, say, flying reptiles, they started producing flying machines.
That still doesn't explain why they started fighting among themselves. Since they already defeated the living organisms, why keep producing themselves? It makes no sense.
What's a guiding principle of a homeostat?
I don't...
That was a rhetorical question. It's all about survival in changing conditions, even the harshest ones. Further forms of necroevolution were no longer threatened by the local fauna, but they had to find sources of energy and materials from which they could produce replacement parts and offspring. Originally, their descendants were undoubtedly powered by radiant radiation. But on Regis, there are no radioactive elements at all.
Ah, sounds familiar. When the energy runs out, you have to wheel and deal.
Yes, the default source wasn't available anywhere. So they had to look for an alternative. There was a severe energy crisis and a conflict among the machines. Simply put, they fought to survive. Exist. That's what evolution is all about. About selection.
Wait, Doctor. We've established that these beings are mindless. Shouldn't the organisms with the most developed nervous systems win the game of evolution? In this case, instead of a nervous system, there was some kind of electrical one, but the principle remains the same.
Not exactly, sir. The most advanced of the mechanisms that landed here derived energy from their own radioactive resources. Simpler devices such as small repair systems could have had solar panels. And in that case, would have had a significant advantage over the others.
But the other ones could defend themselves. They could attack.
With atomic power. Yes, that's possible. But I see it differently. In necroevolution, the most successful beings were those that excelled in miniaturization above all else. Also, the sedentary creations. The former gave rise to the cloud, which the flies form when necessary, in pursuit of a common interest. Meanwhile, the sedentary ones gave rise to a peculiar species of metallic vegetation. Those structures formed the city.
So, it's still functional?
No. For some reason, the city lost a fight for survival. And now, there are only rusting remains. Only one form survived. The microbots that conquered the land on Regis 3.
So, these flies just adapted best.
To the conditions of this planet. Yes, that's how it works.
So, to summarize, some alien race sent advanced robots to Regis 3. Local dinosaur-like monsters tried to eat them, so the robots produced other robots, which produced more and more robots, until they fell victim to their own overproduction. After a number of iterations and wars for resources, they spat out the murderous cloud, which took over the planet.
Indeed. To put it simply.
For me, the matter is perfectly clear. Makes no sense to bomb these creatures. I even say it's a greater danger to us than to them.
But how else do you imagine defeating the cloud?
Well, that's the thing. I don't. It's invincible. Yes, sir. Do you agree?
Well,
Yeah, I very much agree. Another attack would make no difference. Just a few flies are enough for the cloud to regenerate.
what if we destroy their nests?
No, Ritra. Unless we want to destroy the entire planet, it's impossible to eliminate them all. And even then, there's no guarantee they would die in space. After all, the flies need no air, water, or food, only solar energy.
But what else can we do, if not attack?
We can leave this place and never come back. We have a lander.
Sorry, but I'm not going anywhere. You, on the other hand? I'm surprised you didn't evacuate already.
Well, I had to make sure you won't do something you'll deeply regret.
Huh. I'm done. Warheads are armed. One more press of a button, and there'll be no turning back. I can't.
That was close.
I'm suspending all actions leading to conflict. But what should I do now?
Well, we have a lander. So you can get to the Dragonfly.
All of us?
I'm staying.
What?
What?
I'm staying here. We'll wait for the Invincible together.
Yes, sir. Are you sure?
Someone has to warn them, Astrogator. And Rahitra is, well...
Don't sugarcoat it, Yasna. I think we're all aware of my condition.
Yes, the doctor reported it.
Because of this and many other reasons, I feel I must stay.
Well, I need to check on the guys. It was good talking, Astrogator. See you in a minute, Yasna.
Yeah. Take care.
Okay, that was...
He's gone.
Doctor. Yes, no. It was truly an honor. I'm having a hard time finding the right words.
I know I couldn't keep my mouth shut. Sometimes. But that doesn't change the fact that I'm extremely grateful to you. You could have flown away so many times, yet you stayed with me until the end. Thank you.
You shouldn't thank me. It was my bounden duty as commander. My only regret is that I couldn't do more. And that some decisions...
Please don't blame yourself anymore. There's no point. Now Koval, Krauter, and Gorski need you. Understood?
Yes, Mom.
Have a safe journey, Novik.
Thank you, yes, sir. And... see you soon. Over and out.
Okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You look...
Like shit. I know.
really tired. That's what I meant to say.
Because you're trying to be polite. The undeniable truth is, I look and feel like shit. Will you close it for me?
Of course. Support and stimulants will help you.
I won't sleep. I can't. You know that. I have to endure somehow.
It won't get to that. Because I'll tell you everything all over again.
No, Yasna. I know me all too well. I won't believe the cloud can't be defeated. Or help you convince the Invincible's crew you're innocent. You'll end up in custody, and they'll just repeat our mistakes. It's a strange feeling. Remaining conscious in the hibernator.
You clearly haven't visited the infirmary often. This is a standard procedure for a long recovery.
Will you take another look at Landor and Spluskas?
Do you?
I'm doing it now. Don't worry.
Thanks. Are you still wondering whether to go to the nest? This is probably your last chance. If you want to make it before the Invincible arrives, it would be good to have you here when they come.
No, I'm not going. I know it's a unique opportunity to get closer to this phenomenon, and I might never get another chance. But I've thought about it a lot, and I'd rather stay here with you. Now rest. You should save your strength for their arrival.
The cloud is still there.
Too heavy. Hands become. Down you go, oh bright sun. Night is not that scary. At last, they've arrived. Rahitra, do you hear? They're landing now. Rahitra?
Well, there we go. That was the Invincible. I am not necessarily the biggest fan of quote-unquote walking sims, which is definitely what the Invincible is. It is mostly you move from place to place discovering the story, and it's very kind of linear. That being said, I really enjoyed this. The sci-fi elements, the retro stylings of the technology, the landscapes, the visual elements of the storytelling, the little photography slides that you get as like the registry out of the antimats and the probes and the drones and everything. All of those little elements blend together to make it a really enjoyable story. And there are a lot of things that change the story as you go through. For example, I actually played through some parts of this game a couple of times because a lot of the time when I start playing these games, I'm not entirely aware of how drastic the choices can be, essentially. And we went through the first sort of segment of the game, and we went from Krauter and Marit's area to Gorski's area. And while you're en route from Krauter and Marit's area to Gorski's area, if you don't repair Artie, the robot, at the very beginning of the game, Krauter dies due to injuries from him trying to follow you and Artie not being able to catch up with him fast enough. And because Krauter has to be caught by Artie, you don't recover Marit's body either if you choose to leave it there and follow Gorski, because that's what I did the first time. I thought, okay, a corpse is a corpse, and there's nothing we can do about it because a corpse is a corpse. So better to follow someone who is still alive. But at the end of the day, that timing section doesn't actually matter majorly. It's not that long. It's like 5 minutes of extra in-world time of you hauling a body from one side of an area to another. It doesn't make a big difference. But it does make a big difference later, where if you don't manage to rescue Krauter properly, Novik suggests using the Grave Tapper on Krauter instead of Marit, because Marit's body isn't there. And again, with Gorski, now this I didn't know until I looked it up later, but if you don't give Gorski your bottle, he dies of hypoxia. Whereas if you do give him your oxygen bottle, instead he gets rescued during the evening when you're in the rover, because he survives. He doesn't die of bleeding out or injuries, he dies from the fall. He doesn't die from the fall, rather. He lives. So, 3 out of 4 crew members, with one already being dead, you know, isn't a bad shout. Additionally, if Gorski dies, you kind of have Yasna has a little bit of a breakdown in the control room when she reads that alert slip where we found out in this playthrough that Gorski was alive. I also have to assume that if you don't manage to convince Rohita? I'm gonna be honest, I've already forgotten his name. It was said a lot, and my brain kind of glossed over it. But if you don't convince him that the nukes are the bad option, there is every possibility that the cloud just destroys all sentient life in the galaxy. I'm not entirely sure if that's the case, but no. And I'm sure that there are better choices than what I picked, and I know that there's a couple of hidden achievements that I definitely haven't got. But it was really interesting to see. And we have the comic book now that we can scroll through. So the USCA Condor made an emergency landing on Regis 3. During a prolonged repair, the crew set out to scout the planet, because you might as well, because otherwise you're going to get bored. The convoy stumbles across a high radiation area. They find the metal structures that we originally found. They set up a expedition to explore the city. Then they found the bushes and the samples. But then at that point the flies started corrupting the machinery, because that's something they can do. Because they basically generate a massive electromagnetic field that destroys any electrical activity around. So when something boots up again, it doesn't know what it's doing. It doesn't have any identity. So it just decides to default programming, essentially. Then we have the Dragonfly's crew, which essentially go through the whole story that we've been told, including the fish and the probe and the weird metal deposits. Then the EM field getting spiked, as it were, by the flies, we have to assume. And all of the subsequent points in the game, which is really interesting. Honestly, I'm honestly really interested by the whole thing, and this comic changes depending on the choices you make, which is kind of neat. So this section here is this is us finding Marit, moving Marit's body, helping Koval to the lander, although we did that the other way round. We found Marit's body, helped Koval to the lander, and then moved Marit's body as well, because living people take priority at the end of the day. Then we have the search for Gorski, with Novik launching the whole thing into space, launching the lander with Artie on board. We talk about the future of cybernetics, which this one I actually take a little issue with, because Yasna's statement in this is robots will gain their rights, which I agree with. In the future, hundreds of years from now, robot consciousness or android consciousness, do androids dream of electric sheep, etc., etc., will get to a point where it becomes indistinguishable from humanity. We're nowhere near that point at this time and date. It's still going to take a couple of hundred years for us to get to that point. But when we do get to that point, I have a firm belief that robotic consciousness will take its place among humanity. But in this, the way we describe it here, and Novik's reaction to that statement made me think, okay, maybe I'm missing something. And apparently I am, because according to Yasna, she is concerned about the threat to humanity, which was not how I read that conversation at all, but, you know, I'm slightly autistic and ADHD, and my brain works slightly differently to other people, so maybe I'm wrong. We carry on into the ravines, past the bushes, into the city. We repair the probe, which I'm really sad that we didn't get to keep the probe's brain all the way to the end. Maybe there's an achievement for doing that somehow. I'm not entirely certain. And here we share the oxygen bottle with Gorski, which allows us to make certain... Oh, interesting. We have both here. Huh. I guess because I had an extra save. So in one world, I kept the oxygen bottle for myself, and in the other world, I brought it back. That makes sense, I suppose. So then we have both versions of the depths portion, wherein Yasna tries to get back to the surface, and in one version, Novik helps, because we can hear him over the radio. But in the other version, where we don't have the oxygen and the methane poisoning and hallucinations are setting in, Crowther helps, which is the one you guys saw. Probably. Novik, we went through one with Novik as well. He spends a lot of time assisting. But you note the extra panel here with Crowther vanishing away, which is kind of interesting. Then we carry on, we grab the probe's brain. Now, this is interesting actually. Here it says, after colliding with the antimat, the probe sustained permanent damage, so Yasna decides to retrieve its electronic brain. That says to me that there is a version of these events that does not contain the electronic probe brain, which would put a massively different spin on the whole thing, but I'm not certain if that's possible. Because you see, in this screenshot, well, it's not a screenshot, in this comic strip, the interior of the lander, or the interior of the rover, doesn't have the probe brain on the console. So it would be a very different set of systems. But then in this comic here, the probe brain is in the console. So I'm not sure. Maybe it's a case that the different situations end up with different things. Here we learn that Gorski got out of the city. And was collected by Artie and the lander. Then we find the giant, like, robotic systems that were buried under the planet. We find the dead astronaut, which, as we later find out, the Condor has been stuck on this planet for 428 days, which would realistically, in this environment, be enough time for a body to decay to the point of becoming simply a skeleton. But not everybody is like that, which is interesting. Then we have the additional antimat stuff, the collection and sudden disposal of the flies, the finding the probe, meeting the fly swarm again, meeting hold on, his name is probably somewhere. Rohitra, there we go. Rohitra, there we go. Meeting Rohitra, meeting the other survivors as well, who are all kind of having problems. And I didn't realize this at first because Rohitra is wearing a space suit and cap, but he has the same beard growth that the other two have, which I didn't realize, which made me think he was quite a lot younger than he actually was. But the other part is every time we see Rohitra, he's not wearing a space helmet, which tells us that either the hallucinations are causing major issues or something in his brain is neglecting their existence. There we have the Cyclops and the Cloud being defeated by the the Cloud defeating the Cyclops. Yasna then decides to stay with Rohitra and await the Invincible. And everybody, well, I don't know what happens here. Because at this point, the game states when the Invincible arrives, Rohitra doesn't respond to calls. Now, there is a final choice in the game here, which states that Yasna has the choice to go to the swarm's nest. I don't know what that would entail, honestly. But I am interested to find out.
Are you still wondering whether to go to the nest? This is probably your last chance. If you want to make it before the Invincible arrives, it would be good to have you here when they come.
I've been thinking about it for a while, and it's something I just have to do. I might be the only person who can make contact to understand.
I know, but you will come back, won't you?
I intend to.
Oh, okay. Have a playable segment. There's our rover. Or one of the rovers, anyway. Interesting. Intrigued. We are in a new area by the looks of it. Flies are kind of swarming, but nowhere near as much as they were. Oh. Okay, that's weird. A fly's made a face, and I'm relatively sure it was our face. Dr. Yasna, I don't like it here. Okay, so it is very much just a different ending. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to think of the ending for that. I mean, there's a lot of stories out there that have an entirely different ending depending on the choices you pick. And it is different. But there's also a lot of stories out there that have open endings, which is what the Invincible has. It has two endings which aren't necessarily endings, but just the lack of continuation. Which never really, as a storyteller, it never really sits well with me to sit at the end of a project and to look over the cliff of possibility and stare into the ragged edges of infinity. There are millions of possibilities of what could have happened after these two different segments. They're entirely possible. It was entirely possible that we could have ended the story way back when there was the option to take a lander and never visit the Alliance camp. It's possible that that could have been the end. I don't actually know. Yeah. But also, as a person who is insatiably curious when it comes to stories like this, there are times when I have to think to myself, I want to know how it actually ends. Because neither of these comic panels feel like the end of this story, essentially. It very much feels like there's an open end and you can make up whatever you like. But in this instance, I really wish that they had given us an ending that wasn't just open to interpretation. But with all that being said, and having recorded now about 9 to 10 hours of footage for this, I think we can safely say that if you've gotten to this point in the playlist, in the videos, if you're still watching, I'm surprised you are, this was a pretty good game. I realize, and I probably dubbed in a little bit of voiceover at the beginning saying, hey, I'm not going to talk as much in this because it's a dialogue heavy game. But yeah, I didn't talk as much in this because it is a dialogue heavy game. And I didn't feel like interrupting our protagonists. But it was enjoyable. I really liked it. I really liked the story that they told. I really liked the characters. I really liked the designs and the ideas of like the retro-futuristic rocketry, the flying saucers, the force fields, the arctans. It was fun. It was really fun. I don't know what we'll be playing next. I'm recording this 5 days before I need to upload the first episode, so I'm being real fucking cavalier about this. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. For now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy this series, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I know I don't usually ask, but it does help a lot. And having been on YouTube 10 years at this point, it would be nice to reach 300 subscribers at some point. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for watching. And we'll see you next week for something else, something different, something new. Ta-ta for now.